Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another edition of West Ham Fan TV's post-match pint, the only West Ham United post-match show on the internet. We just come back from London Stadium where it's West Ham 0, Bournemouth 0. Bore draw, but the first bore draw of the season, and one I never thought I'd see this season, to be quite honest with you. Now, boys, I said this morning I didn't know how to feel about it. We all know what the results are after. So, what's your analysis now?
Yeah, I said it yesterday after the game, mate. Look. We should have won yesterday. We needed them points. It's only a good point if others don't win today. And we've been lucky. The new manager bounce hasn't worked this weekend. You know, Forest were very unlucky when I watched them. But Tottenham just got battered. They're poor, Tottenham. They're a really, really bad team. And listen, I can't sit here and say they're guaranteed to get relegated because we're still in the relegation zone. But yeah, it was a boring game yesterday. It's a game that, as I said, we needed to win. We should have won. When you look back at the chances, we didn't really create much. We had half chances. I remember Somerville having one at the back post, Tatty with an overhead kick. There was a couple of other chances, but I think Bournemouth just come there and they was there for the point. They were there for just a set pieces, trying to nick something. And it's disappointing because these are the games we have to win, you know. But I think we've been lucky. We've been lucky once again this weekend.
Yeah. The thing is, we did, Friday night pint. Me and Scott went into it. Both said it was a must-win game, and we have to win. And we didn't win. And I'm not going to change my opinion after the fact. The fact that those teams lost has sort of pissed me off even more because we've once again blown a huge opportunity now to, go level on points. I think we would have gone with Forest and go just 2 behind Spurs. And now we're going to have to wait till next time where we have to hope we win our game, which is Liverpool. And then the other teams drop points. I'm kind of sick of wishing away games and going, the next one, we'll win the next one. Like, it's okay we drew this because a point, but the next one is the one we're going to win. And then banking on that. And then we draw against Liverpool and it'll be, it's Liverpool, it's fine. We'll go to the next one. And then when we don't, we keep kicking the can down the road. And that's my problem. And I just think that performance, we started that first 10 minutes, I was like, yes. Here we go. Like, if we kept that up, even for half an hour, I think we win that game. But we just settled, passed it backwards, moved it slowly, and we kind of got what we got, really.
I was just quickly going to say, mate, the players for me yesterday, they looked scared of losing, and you can tell that by the way we approached it. As Dan said, I thought exactly the same, mate. I thought we started off really well. And I thought, if we can nick a goal the first 15, 20 minutes, we'll see out this game and win it comfortably. But, yeah, it's just frustrating.
It was one of them ones because they came in great form. And listen, Bournemouth are no mugs. Let's be honest with you. Bournemouth are no mugs. I do agree. I think they're winnable games. But I sort of disagree with you a bit, Dan. And I'm not trying to get into an argument or anything, but I'm just saying, I don't think we're kicking the can down the road because the way I looked at it today, obviously I watched that Forest and the Arsenal game in full because obviously it was such big games in result. I don't like the fact that we keep on having to rely on other results because one day you're going to come unstuck. We've done that earlier on in the season, and I think it was a weekend where we might have had a winnable game and we either drew or lost it. And I think Forest had Liverpool, and you think, well, they're not picking up points there, and they beat them 3-0. And I'm looking at it there, but I looked at the teams today, and I looked at Forest. Forest were okay. I think they was getting a lot more praise from the commentators than they should have because I didn't think they was fantastic. I thought Liverpool looked very poor, like very, very poor. I thought they was absolutely dog shit, to be quite honest with you. And they were very, very fortunate. I mean, very fortunate to come away. But that is what you get when you're in a relegation zone. They had that goal disallowed on the 96th minute. And everyone thought, well, that's their chance. And they got another one 3 minutes later, and it could have been ruled out. It was just the geezer was a boot. And that's the luck that you get when you're down there. We've had it before. And I think it's a bit of there. But I'm looking at that Liverpool team, and I think, you know what? We could go there and get something next week. It might not be a win, But I think we can go there and get something if we play our A game. But what we can't afford to do, because we've massively improved defensively, massively. Like, it's day and night from earlier on in the season, right? Mavropanos, I think he's been excellent over the last sort of couple of months. Dasasi coming in, I think he's been excellent. We was very dogged defending yesterday. But what we can't do is we can't go into games either being good in attack or good in defence. We have to find the balance between the two. Right.
The thing is,
and that's the only way we're going to get out of it, because we do need to pull off some results. We do. There's 4 games now, right? We cannot afford to lose these 4 games.
We can't afford not to win any of them. Like, if we draw, it's not good enough, mate. Draws anymore. No, it's not enough.
I agree. Like, the thing is as well is that, like, look, I love Tatty. I think he works his bollocks off, but it's got to come to a point now where we brought in 3 players, attacking players in January. One's injured, one's not even getting a look in now, or if he is, he's getting a few minutes, Traore, and Tatty's not scoring goals. And, you know, I'm not putting all the pressure on him, but yesterday I was a bit it was frustrating a little bit for me. But then again, Bowen wasn't great. I thought Somerville was quiet yesterday. But you always think with them 2 on the pitch, you will, if something is going to fall. I think now we have to revert back to starting Callum Wilson, because you see when Wilson come on, the difference, and he had a chance as well. If it had been a bit more longer on the pitch, a bit more longer, he might have took that chance. But
he waited way too long to bring him on, I think.
Yeah, I agree, mate. And I think he's a natural goal scorer. He's a natural striker. Just start him. You know, we've got 11 games now, 11 massive games, and I agree. We can't. I mean, look. Next week, we go to Anfield. We've won there once since 1963. 1 game. We've only won 4 games at Anfield since 1914. Like, it's not a ground that we go and we get results. But next week, we have to fucking forget all that, and we have to go there, and we have to give it fucking from minute 1 to 90 and try to get them 3 points, because I agree. Draws ain't good enough anymore now. And every time these teams above us give us a chance to close that gap, we bottle it and we don't do it. And your luck is going to run out soon. And I know we're on a good run of form at the moment, but we're not getting 3 points. And that is, like, this side of the time of the season, where we are, we need wins.
Games are running out, mate. The games are running out fast, and it's frustrating. I think with that game yesterday, I think we were so slow in that transition. We just gave Bournemouth so much time to get back and get their shape, and then we had to break them down.
I think they're scared at home. I really do. I think you see. I think we play more of a flowing football away from home, because I think there's a couple of games this season. I think Man United might have even been one, where they think they've got the points in the bag, and, you know, we think we've done enough, and we've come up, and, you know, something's happened at the end of games, and it's mostly at the end of games. You know, you go back to the Forest game where we're 1-0 up, should have been 2-0 up, and then they get that fucking dodgy VAR, which makes us lose games. You know, you look back to the game against Villa, where we're giving them a good go and we end up losing. I think it frightens them. And it's at a point in the season now where they can't afford to lose games. That would have been a disaster to lose that yesterday. And I've always said, right, as I said before, I don't know how to feel about it, because at the end of the day, we are in the same position now, right? Because Forest have lost. We're now 2 points behind them. Even if we would have won yesterday and Forest would have lost, we'd have been level on points, but the goal difference is another win. We need another win to get away, right? So it's the same situation. The only problem is I've got with yesterday's result is it's Spurs. We could have been 1 win away from Spurs, but now we're 2, right? But in terms of Forest, it's the same situation, right? But let's be honest, it's not in our fucking hands. It's not in our hands. We have to go and fucking win every game, and hope they don't. That's it. You know, we cannot, as you say, like, under normal circumstances, if we'd have been 3 points clear of the relegation, if we'd have been in Forest position, I'd have said that's a fantastic point at home to a team that's in banging form. Same as Man United, even though we lost it. But when you get to the point where you're trying to catch them, you know, you have to make up the ground somewhere, right? And as you say, we've got Man City coming up. Listen, today's result is bad for Spurs. but it's bad for Man City as well. They're going to be having to win every single game if they want to win this Premier League title. That is going to be fucking tough to get anything out of that. You got Villa coming up. Listen, I know Villa are a bit of a brick wall. Hopefully we can go there. Fulham, you see them today away at Sunderland. They're no fucking mugs, mate. They're playing, good football. And Liverpool, where we've won once in about 70 fucking years. Like, it's going to be tough. It's going to be fucking tough.
Yeah, but
I still think we can do it.
It's expected to be tough. This is the Premier League, and I know we've got to play City, but Forest have got to play City as well. Yeah. The teams around us, you look at their fixtures, and I look at our fixture list and I look at their fixtures list, and they're pretty similar to what we've got to play. So look, we are going to drop points. We know we are, but it's crucial that if we do drop points, that they don't pick up points. But as I said, we just every time we're given a chance to close the gap, we don't. Yeah. We seem to bottle it, and you can't do that, especially like Dan said, games are running out. There's 11 games left. I remember having these same conversations saying we've got 20 games left.
Yeah,
we've got and now you're in 11. You're going to be in single digits soon, and then you're down. Oh, we've got 5 games, 4 games. And then you run out of time.
There has to be a point where we stop.
Forest has got to come. Yeah, I was just about to say that they've got to play each other.
Yeah, but I think there's just got to be a point where we got to stop excusing draws and say, do you know what? At least we didn't lose. At least we got a point. At least we did this. Because I know we're going to hear it at Liverpool.
I don't think there's anyone excusing it, Dan. But in terms of what we've seen all season, you've got to start to, But the only thing is, you've got to start respecting like the improvements we've made, and you've got to start respecting the improvement the manager's made. The problem is, it might be too little, too late. That's the problem. That's the issue.
I think Nuno he needs to have a bit more bollocks about him. He really does start to, because trying to play it safe at this stage of the season is going to send us down.
I understand what you're saying, but I think you're damned if you do and you're damned if you don't. Because if we'd have gone for it yesterday and we'd have ended up losing that 1-0, I think we'd have been sitting here having a very, very different conversation.
Yeah, but I don't think we'd all be going, do you know what? He should have played it safe yesterday and he should have been more reserved.
No. I agree. It's win or bust. It's literally win or bust. So
as Hellboy says, he who dares wins.
He who dares wins. That's right. But then you see Forest today, like, fuck me. I was on the edge of my seat watching that because Liverpool was shocking. And I mean fucking shocking if you watched it. And you think to yourself, like, I'm looking at Forest, I'm thinking to myself, I don't think they was great, Forest. But Liverpool were bad. And I'm thinking they're going to get a fucking win here. And this is going to be really tough now. And then you get that disallowed goal and you think to yourself, fuck me, like, that's just our luck. And then 2 minutes later, the same fucking situation and it goes our way. And you start to, and that makes me start to believe. Maybe
I still can't work out where that fucking Nottingham Forest defender come from. I didn't even see him behind Van Dijk.
He spawned in behind him.
He looked like he was offside. I thought, this is definitely offside. And they went, he's onside. And I'm like, hang on. And then they showed a defender behind Van Dijk. I'm thinking, where the fuck did he come from? Well, I'm fucking glad he was there. But yeah, you're right. Look, it's we just need to start taking our chances. Like, as I said, we had half decent chances yesterday. On the whole, I think we were the team that were looking more to go for it. Bournemouth were very poor yesterday. They was there just to,
weren't they? Yeah,
they was there to get the point. You see what they was trying to do, drawing.
They did start putting the pressure on towards the end, though. I think they started. There was a few chances.
What's his name? Is it Rayan? When he had that run and shot, and I thought, do you know what? I was watching that game. I was standing in the stands. I was watching that game, and I think to myself, this is a game that I could just see 1-0 either way. 1-0 either way. And it's frustrating. But look, there's nothing we can do. We just got to dust ourselves down now and hope that we get 3 points at Anfield next week. We have to go for it, But they're going to be, I think we're going to be too scared to lose. But look, I watched the game earlier as well, and I've seen Liverpool over the last few months, and they're not the Liverpool of last season. They are beatable. So we can't go there fearing it because it's Anfield. Don't worry about that. Let's go there, silence them, silence the fans, and hopefully come back with 3 points.
Yeah. Forest have Brighton and away, and Spurs have Fulham away. So
Forest next 2 games. They've got Brighton away and City away as well. So they're away in the next 2 games.
But that so the thing is, I think both games are tough for Fulham, for Forest and Spurs, but they're winnable, right? So what we don't want is on the off chance they win their games and we lose to Liverpool, and then the gap goes to flipping 6 points again.
I watched Spurs today, mate, and they're not great. The geezer's gone in and he's playing 5 at the back. That's how he plays. Look, I'm not going to sit here and talk about fucking Tottenham because I've got to worry about my own team. But from what I see, they're the ones that I think are in most danger. I know we're in the relegation zone at the moment, but I look at them and I don't see any fighters or battlers.
They're in the worst form. I think they're the worst team out of the teams in the relegation battle.
They haven't won a game this year so far in 2026.
Yeah, it's mad. It is mad, and their home form is horrendous. So, like again, that's all well and good, but we just have to start winning. If we can start bloody win, I think we're going to win more games than Spurs, right? Between now and the end of the season.
But you know
are we going to win enough?
But saying that, right? Do you know what I can see? I think if this continues for another 2 games, I can see them sacking him, and because he's not there for long, is he? And trying to get their long-term manager in, because I think what the idea was behind this geezer is he comes into the end of the season so they can wait for Pochettino. That's what I've heard.
They can't get Pochettino now, though.
Well, that's what I've heard. They're banking.
No, I'll just say, if you're Poch, mate, or say Poch or any top manager, would you take the job thinking there's a good chance you could go down?
Obviously he's got obviously, like, you know, I think someone like Pochettino will have enough to get him out of it.
There's no way Poch is going to come in now.
I don't think he comes in now. But
he's the manager of America. He ain't going to turn down.
Maybe what they do is they go and find a more permanent manager now rather than waiting for Poch. You know, because
I don't know who that is. Glasner's not leaving at the moment.
Thomas Frank's
available. They'll stick with this Igor Tudor to the end of the season.
I think
they're gonna they'll stick with him, and I think they're just gonna hope. And you know what? They'll probably find enough, maybe a couple of wins just to keep them up. But I just can't see it. And I'm not just saying it because I'm West Ham and I don't like Tottenham. As a neutral fan, you watch them, and there's nothing about them. You know, they bring on like Richarlison earlier, and you think, oh, he's a decent player, but even he looks lost now. Yeah. You know, I know they've still got injuries and all that, but look, as I said,
I think we're seeing with us is just realizing how much of a miss Pablo really is. The fact that he didn't do much in terms of goals and assists directly, but how much having him in the team, you know, allowed us to press with him, the energy, you know, and the things he could do off the ball. We're really missing him. And they said 4 to 6 weeks, he can't come back soon enough, because I think Moyes, not Moyes, Nuno, shout out as well to Potts, Dan Potts. I know. Fucking mental. Shout out for This Is London raid from Dan Potts, 12th man. Go and subscribe to him. Thank you for the raid. With Nuno, I think the reason why he didn't want to play Wilson and Tatty to start with is because I guess if he starts both of them, like, he's got no striker on the bench then, really. And again, I look at this flipping Traore, and I think me and you spoke a little bit on the phone the other day, Nick, about Traore up front or whatever, but I go back to what I said last week. I know we had a bit of a Barney about it, right? But I'm still not seeing why he was so desperate to bring him in when he's not even, like, he don't even bring him on, like, with any good time. He's not using him where he believes he can affect the game positively. Like, we're in a situation where we're chasing a goal and you've got a big, strong, quick attacker on the... I think he's... You know what? He don't bring him on. But why?
I think I think there's a couple of things. I think what it is, I think he's turned up. Maybe he's in bad form. Maybe he's in bad shape. I don't know. You know what I mean? Like, but you know, I don't think it's one of them players that is going to come in, he's not playing week in, week out for Fulham, was he? He was being used sparingly, and he was getting a few minutes here, a few minutes there. Maybe he thinks he can get him into shape in time to have an impact. I don't know. I don't know.
I can't work out why he wasn't brought on yesterday. I really can't work out. He made 2 subs yesterday, and to me it screamed out that Nuno just didn't want to go for it, and he was like scared of losing. Like, bring him on and just go for it. Like, I can't work out. Like, maybe he didn't realise how sort of unfit he was when he signed him.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
It's shocking
because it's not the only change he's made, is it? Like, he's changed the goalkeeper months down the line. I can't work out why he done that.
Tell you what, though,
it's random.
Just talking about Hermansen, been impressed with him last few games. I feel very comfortable with him in goal. The ball at his feet, I think the defence, it looks a lot more solid now. I think Diassi has come in and he's playing alongside Mavropanos, and they've got a good understanding. But yeah, Hermansen for me, he surprised me, really. Surprised me.
I didn't realise till I see him from side on yesterday how fucking small he is.
Yeah, he is. That's what I was saying on the other day. Yeah, that's the one thing is, I'm not thrilled about the short keepers. I think they could be done with like worldies and quite, distant shots quite easy. But Pickford has some great games. I'm not going to completely dismiss him, but I like, and listen, I'm someone who's vertically challenged. But when it comes to keepers, I like them to be a bit taller. But like I said, the clean sheet, we got another. We were starved of clean sheets. And now, we're starting to pick him up with, Diassi, Hermansen. And listen, it's really harsh to judge Areola and say, well, the clean sheets just because we've dropped Areola for Hermansen. We're not utilising Kilman when he's had to play, behind Kilman for a lot of the season and stuff.
Yeah. I agree.
So it's a tough one. But, now he's got the next game. And that thing, because I don't know if I spoke to you. I spoke to Scott about it. So I don't think I spoke to you quick enough about the Brentford draw, right? Either of you, but that's a kick in the balls to me, because now that means like we're going to have to play our A team against Brentford. Like, if we want to go through, right, we can play our B team, but we're probably going to get turned over embarrassingly. So we're going to have to play our strongest team against Brentford, which is a massive risk in our relegation battle. That was really unfortunate, that draw, and obviously all the big six got the easy teams.
We got a couple of fucking Emirates Cup in it. But you see yesterday, he obviously isn't keen on the second team, but Brentford's going to be fucking tough. They're in good form. It just seems like we fucking get everyone in fucking good form. That's the problem. Every time we face someone, they're in their fucking best form of their life. We'd have played Bournemouth 6 weeks ago. I think, well, we was in shit form as well, to be quite honest with you. So I don't know whether we'd have won, but they was in shocking form. Hadn't won in something like 17 fucking games, and we Man United were the same. Since Carrick came in, we find them in the best form. We've just been unlucky. Listen, I think they're great performances, but as I said before, what we can't afford to do is to to start to sort of play ourselves out of form now. Get a couple of defeats and fucking let it fucking rock the boat. Because we've got to keep up with it now, and it's got to keep on going to the end of the season, regardless. So that's the thing. Talking about that, sorry, before I forget, talking about goalkeepers, it just made me think. Great tribute to the club. Listen, I don't give the club enough credit sometimes for things that they do, but great tribute yesterday to Ludo. I was quite pleased with that, actually. It was good.
Hey, that weren't even down to the club. That was down to Ironworks Alliance.
Oh, okay. Sorry, I didn't know. I thought it was a club thing, but well done, Ironworks Alliance.
That was
a great tribute.
Yeah. No, look, it was great, but I heard that they didn't even show that on Sky.
Yeah, I didn't see it.
They didn't even show that on Sky. So yeah, it was a great tribute. It's
and it's someone close to our heart because we've spent a bit of time with him recently, and he's a fucking one of the best fellas I've ever fucking met in football. To be quite honest with you, he's fantastic, and if anyone deserves it, I think he deserves it at the moment.
100%, mate. I just want to say on Bowen, right? I'm going to give Bowen a little bit of criticism, but I want to. Oh, sorry. Did I transition too quick?
No, you're all right. Go
on. I'll give him a bit of praise, right? His fucking set piece corners were actually decent yesterday. The one thing I slate him for every week was the best thing about his game. He actually put in decent corners. It's just he does this frustrating thing, like consistently loses the ball, like more than he usually does. He's not really a sort of player that's like this 1v1 guy that's gonna fucking go and dribble past players. But he just consistently has been losing the ball quite a bit lately, and that's frustrating. And look, he's trying. I've never fault him for his effort.
Do you know what I want to say something about Bowen earlier, because I said something about him on the morning after, and I've got to say this as well. Like, yes, he isn't in great form, and yes, we do need him, and yes, I've criticised him a load about captaincy. But somebody reminded me of something earlier, which I think is good. He's carried this team for a long, long time. You know what I mean? Like, for me, it's sort of like the Scott Parker situation in similarities. Like, he's been the main man for a couple of years now since Declan left. He's been the main man. He's been the captain, and we win with him, we lose with him, and obviously, like, he's our talisman. He's the one that we turn to every week. But there's only so much you can do as one person. You know, it's got to be down to everyone. You can't just be looking at him all the time. You know, and Somerville's took that bit of the flack off of him over the last couple of weeks. But I do, yes. I think everyone deserves criticism, regardless of who you are, and that's something I've never shied away from. But I do feel a bit sorry for Bowen, because, like, being the captain, he's going to take the flack, and you've got to remember what he's taken on his fucking shoulders for the last couple of years. Like, it's a lot for anybody.
Yeah, no, look, you say a couple of years, he's been consistent for 6 years, isn't he?
6 years consistent, but I'm talking about carrying the team. Like, he's been
he's been our one of the best players we've signed in the Premier League era. Yeah, and it's right. When you are the captain, you take on all the responsibilities, win or lose. So it is a lot. You know, he has been criticised this season. We've seen him at the beginning of the season when he had that row with the fans at Wolves. You know, he gets heated, his passion. But yeah, look, it's going to come to a point. He hardly misses a game. And that's going to take its toll on you. It's been a long season. And but we just got to hope that we see the best of Jarrod Bowen in the last 11 games, along with Somerville, who's been brilliant for the last 5-6 weeks. But there's other players as well that need to step up and get us out of this situation. So, yeah, but unfortunately, when you're the captain, that's what happens. When you lose, you get criticised.
Listen, I think some of the criticism has been fair. I really do.
Yeah, like, 100%. You can only judge a player on what you've just watched.
Yeah.
You know, there's no point talking about Bowen saying, he was shit 3 weeks ago when if he had a good game yesterday. You just have to talk about these players when you watch 90 minutes.
Yeah, that's it. And that's all we do. We come on and say he had a shit game, he had a good game. And yeah, like we just need this team just to dig a bit deeper. And they've, like I said, a lot of performances the past few weeks have been playing like they have been in a fight, like they have been a battle. And I just think, yes, I think Ryan summed it up a little bit earlier when, it seemed like a bit of more scared to lose, a little bit timid, a little bit apprehensive, rather than fucking let's go and take this game. And we you see it towards the end, as like the fucking extra time came, it's like then we decided, oh crap, the clock's ticking now, let's start going for it. So we needed that about 20 minutes ago.
But you know what is the good thing about that, and hopefully they can do this, is they can take that and think to yourself, right, we cannot afford to do that again. We've got to learn from that experience, because we've got away with it this weekend. Yeah. If either of them two win, it's down to one. You know what I mean? Like, if they both won, I think we're too far apart then.
I think, I agree, mate. I think if both teams would have won today, it'd have been
over.
Look, mathematically, we're not out of it, but it's
tough.
I'm really worried now that Nuno goes 5 at the back against Liverpool.
I don't think so.
Sticks to the
I think it'd be crazy to listen. If we go to Liverpool and lose, we go to Liverpool and lose.
Let's not act like Nuno ain't done crazy before, mate.
No, mate, I know.
Lineups.
But,
that's my worry.
I think Palace sort of out of it now. I didn't think they was in it anyway, but yeah. So I agree, though. Yeah, I would hate to see him go 5 at the back next week, because then you're just inviting Liverpool on. You're just inviting the pressure on. Just go for it, And hopefully he hasn't been great so far since we've had him in the team, but maybe a Traore last-minute winner at Anfield will put him right back up there again. And
look, if he does that, mate, then I'd say that's money well spent. If he can do that for us, right? You go transfer justified.
Is Potsy back next week?
No, he misses 3 games.
I thought it was 1. Somebody said
it
1.
was straight red, wasn't it?
Yeah, it's a straight red, but because it wasn't violent conduct. I don't know. Someone said it might have been 1, but I don't know. I'll have to check.
Straight red is an automatic 3-game ban, isn't it?
I thought that. But there we go.
Yeah, not that. Listen, I don't think
2 yellows is a 1 game.
Yeah. Not that I think like we just stick Potsy and all of a sudden it's going to change the game for us.
I thought Magas was against yesterday. If I'm honest, I think
but I think everyone was.
I think he was just a little bit off the pace yesterday. I'd feel more confident with Potsy in there. I'd feel more confident with fucking Pablo in, but
he looked all right though when he come on, didn't he? Kante, he's no fear, like for a youngster to come on in, a big game like that. He looked all right. But yeah, I think. Do you know what though? I don't think anyone was brilliant yesterday. I think there was a lot of players that just, when you want your bigger players to step up and get your winner, like Somerville was quiet yesterday. He had a chance to back post, better connection, and he scores a goal. But look, he's not gonna. You can't expect him to be a 10 out of 10 every week. He is going to have an average game at some point. But then if he goes up to Anfield next week and has a stormer, you forget about that performance.
Yeah, the problem is once again, like I said, when you're doing that slow build up, or they've got all their team behind the ball, it really makes it difficult.
Yeah, and they're tough to break down. I've got to ask this right before we leave. Yeah, the challenge on Bowen, penalty or not?
He stepped on his foot, right? I lean towards penalty. I'm not going to say it's the most fucking biggest robber. The ref said it was a coming together, right? The ref said, I see him when he was like that, coming together. So I'm not going to scream blue murder and say he was robbed, but I think you rush in. Yeah, I've seen him given. You rush in like that, you step on a player's foot. I think I wouldn't be surprised if that's a pen. Like I would lean towards pen. That's might be my West Ham bias, but I'm not going mental that it's not given because I've seen him given. I've seen him not given.
Right, what do you think?
Do you know what, man? I'm going to be totally honest. I can't even fucking remember it.
It was a shot. He had the shot, and as he had the shot, the geezer absolutely clumped him.
I'll have to watch it back.
He comes in, and as he goes in, you can see he's trying to get the ball. He's a bit late, and he steps on Bowen's foot as Bowen gets a shot.
See, I've got a lean.
My West Ham head says penalty. It's a penalty then.
Yeah, I've got a lean towards yes, right? Because I think the thing that saved Bowen is if he didn't have the shot, I think he gets the penalty, right? So if the shot hadn't already gone, I think he gets the penalty. But I've got to say this: a foul's a foul. Like whether it's
wherever it is,
you know what I mean? Like, and you've got to remember when he's teeing up for that shot, if that guy ain't there, he gets a better connection on it, or he does something different. Like he's rushing away the shot because the guy's coming in, and the guy's coming in recklessly. Yeah, and if someone kicks the ball up the field, and it's not going towards their player, and something comes like that, it's a penalty. You know, it's a foul. Sorry, I've got to say, listen, I'm not mad that it weren't given because, as I said before, but the thing is that pisses me off about it is the inconsistency because I've seen 2 of them given and I've seen 2 of them denied. Like, what's the fucking rule? You know, but there we go.
Yeah, that's football, though, isn't it? Now, you
there
know, 1 week referees are giving them, and next they're not. I mean, as you said, whether he's had the shot or not, if it's a foul, it's a foul. So you bring it back. So you
can give a penalty when the ball's out of play for a corner and they're dragging each other down, and you've seen it given. We've seen it. We've seen it this season.
This is the problem. You know, this is it, and it's the same way. You look at the Spurs game; they had the Gabriel that was ruled out, where Gabriel done the massive dive. But Spurs, I think it was against Newcastle or whatever. They had something that was much worse that wasn't given. That wasn't. Sorry, wasn't
do that a couple of times for Newcastle against us and be given goals. Like it's just it's just one of them things. I suppose.
There
we go, boys. Anything else?
No. I think it's not. As I say, it's a
0-0 draw.
Hard, it's hard to take out a show for an hour on a 0-0 draw. I mean, there weren't many major incidents either, was there? It was
a really dull and frustrating game for the most part. I think.
I think people will be ringing up Sky and asking for their money back for that, paying for that to watch that. But
I got a little.
I
got a little.
DJ Ariola. Shout out to him.
That was bad. You know, I did see Paul Turner got jealous. There we go. I'll mention his name once.
The thing is with the Ariola thing, I see him getting a bit of stick online, and I'm like saying, "Oh, we're in a relegation battle, and he's doing DJ." And I'm like, "Mate, they've got lives."
Yeah, you play him.
Like, I see someone having a go at the Chelsea manager yesterday because he was having a pint after the game, and I'm like, "The fuck's this world come to now? Like, what people can't do anything with their lives? Like Ariola's got to go home and sit indoors."
Yeah.
Until next fucking Saturday.
Listen,
this
is it. This is modern football. They're multi-millionaires. They're not going to be sitting indoors on a Saturday night. Simple as that.
Well, fucking Joe Bloggs wouldn't be like anyone wouldn't be like. The thing is there's a morale issue. If you ask the players, right, we're in a relegation battle, sit indoors all the time, fucking stare at the wall, don't go out, don't have fun, don't blow off steam. Yeah, like we need them to blow off steam and things like that and be in a positive mindset, and he looked happy and he like enjoying himself. We don't want him sitting there moping around, we're in a relation battle. Yeah. Oh, right. No, the form's good. And he's not even starting for us. He's fucking on the bench. Right now.
I agree.
So, I think people are being ridiculous.
I've got to ask quickly as well. What did you think about the two fans at Wolves? Because I haven't had a chance to talk about this. Did you see these two cunts?
Two fans at Wolves.
The
Arsenal fans. I see a couple of these TikTokers today at fucking the North London derby walking around Tottenham in Arsenal. One of them got nicked for shouting what he did, and like, I don't know what goes through these people's heads. So they wake up and think, right, let's go and grab a camera, let's go and walk around fucking and enrage fucking fans. It's.
I think the thing that I took offence to with the Wolves one is that Wolves have invited them there. They've put them up. They've given them tickets. They've given them clothes. They've given them food. Right? That Wolves crowd this season have paid a lot of money to watch a lot of shit. Yeah, it's probably the worst thing. And they're giving two people the opportunity to go and get their best seats in the best bit of the house on Wolves. And what they decide to do is go and fucking tell everyone what we're going to do is we're going to wind every cunt up. Wolves must be watching that, and they still let them in. And that's the thing that I was most upset about. And I think this is a problem in football, is that the clubs don't respect the fans enough. Them people there do not deserve to have them two people put in a fucking box above them all to goad them as they do. Like, the club have put them through enough fucking stress as it is. You know what I mean? Like, just supporting the football club, and the poor bastards turn up week in, week out, and they've got 10 points, and I think to myself, like, why would the clubs do? And that's what starts to worry me, is this is what the clubs value. And all I hear people saying that was sticking up for them was, it's exposure for Wolves. It's exposure. What have you exposed them to? People, who's going to support Wolves because two fans went in there fucking supporting Arsenal and Wolves? These people are making these decisions in football, right, have got to be looked at and sacked, because it's poor. It's poor to do that to your fan base. I thought that was absolutely disgusting, to be honest with you. But there we go. Yeah. I think that's right. I think a lot of these people think the camera's going to keep them safe. Who's going to make an assault on camera? That's what they think.
People will. There's people out there that will.
I know they fucking will. And listen, they got nicked today. I think the police today, the way they acted. Listen, I think we know what they said, right? And obviously one people can say it and one people can't, right? I know what they said, but I think the police were looking for any excuse to just get him out there, because I think it was for his own safety, if I'm honest with you.
Yeah, but it's not the first time he's done it this season. He's done it. He goes around most games when there's a derby or a London derby, and he's done it. He's done it at Tottenham Arsenal earlier in the season as well. I remember seeing the video. So these are the sort of people that fucking, I can't.
But this is the problem, right? You get these people, and these are the people that people get banned over. You know what I mean?
But the thing is, as long as people reward them by watching the content, they'll keep doing it because it rewards them. You know what I mean? Like, you get viewership, you get money for it by doing the crazy, most extreme thing you can do. And that's just unfortunately, it's viable.
Going to end up, but there we go.
It will end in tears, yeah, of course.
I've got an update tomorrow because I've got a couple of emails to go through before I update you. But I've got an update from the club on the situation from last week. So I'll tell you my chat about that tomorrow morning. And I met Jermaine Defoe a couple of weeks ago, and we had a little chat, and I'll tell you all about that as well tomorrow. But there we go. Thank you very much for joining us on this edition of West Ham Fan TV's post-match pint. Listen, keep the faith. Don't worry too much. The results went in our way in the end. So listen, there's a long fight ahead, but we'll be covering it all. But thank you very much for watching. Subscribe if you're new. Go and visit OK Jerseys, our sponsor. They support the channel, and you support the channel by shopping with them and using Nicky10 for 10% discount. If anyone wants these shirts, you have to contact me on Twitter because they're not an OK jersey. But there we go. Thank you very much for watching. One thing left for us all to say.
Come on, right.